Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is August 1st. I didn't actually think I was going to have time to make a video today, but we got out of work early because we have too many gnats there and they're fumigating the place, so that was kind of cool. So I figured I'd sneak one in before we start. So I actually goofed a little bit ago. I should have started in the other building, my apologies. So when I was setting up the nuclear reactors the other day under these two buildings, I set my stuff up wrong, so unfortunately everything was running fine for a while, but I noticed I ran out of fuel and that kind of like cascaded into a bunch of different problems. So everything's running fine now, but basically what happened was this guy in particular right here was didn't have didn't have the extract on, so once all these rods depleted, it just killed everything. And then the way that cascaded was not the worst because a lot of the big multi-blocks are off the fuel system, but back over to where we started in the B processing, all of these, I shouldn't say all, but the single blocks that are used the most shut down. In particular, this guy, this centrifuge for my steel, which is very unfortunate because now I'm just kind of sitting around waiting on steel. I think right after this I'm going to rearrange some of the filters just to put steel on its own thing because I am waiting on the steel for a bunch of stuff. I'm also glad my blood magic didn't shut off by accident now that I think about it, because I probably have so many drones in here. That's funny. So what I'm doing right now, where'd all my queens go, is making more uranium bees because, oh shoot, I didn't check. Let me check which ones. Okay, so this is the bad one. That guy go in here, we clear up some space, keep that rolling. Woohoo! I got really lucky that I don't like to leave that one running when I'm not paying attention because it can screw you over. But throw this guy over here. So these guys should all be jubilant and doing a whole bunch of. I got this one set up. I'm working on creating 7 because, like I said yesterday, my uranium's not keeping up. Once I can get that going, I really do need to upgrade the power. Even with all these multi-blocks I shouldn't say these multi-blocks, the other multi-blocks coming off of the turbo diesel stuff, or CBD, it's not keeping up anymore, although these two multi-blocks are great. I think what I want to do after the steel runs for a little bit and I can kind of get caught up on that, which actually here, we're just going to take both these off right now. I'll come back to that. I'll have to make sure I put the phosphorus on something else because that one is important. But for the moment, I really need steel. It's holding me up. I noticed that later on in the day, unfortunately, so I was never able to get caught up. I didn't play too much today. One of the things I did, the only thing I ended up doing last night was I did put a second one of this on here because I noticed, especially after I noticed this electrolyzer doesn't actually use that much energy if I can get a right angle. The input or the output is never over the input, even with it running 2. I actually assumed this was going to be 2 amps instead of 1 amp, or like have problems, but this thing's great, although it's still not keeping up. If we type in oxygen here, it's still holding on empty, so that part's unfortunate. I might have to add a couple more, but I'm not too worried about that right now since everything else kind of cascaded into problems. But I did, because like I said, one of the things my next kind of immediate goal while I'm trying to fix everything to make it to this wireless charger, these 2 items right here, or I guess these last 4, the uranium stowaway, alloy furnace, and wireless charger. I'm trying to speed up the processes. The main one I noticed while doing some large crafts the other day, or yesterday, was my foils are taking forever. So I did set up my first one of these. This is the only one actually hooked up anymore, which gets foils. I did notice though, I kind of got a problem where it sometimes when this pulls out too many things at once. I've tried both having, I have upgrades in here with and without the upgrades. Sometimes they'll get pulled back into the input and then it just kind of like lags out the recipe. So I'm thinking I need to do is put a item filter in front of this so that it only accepts ingots, and basically do that all the way across whenever I set up each of these to kind of stop the problem. Otherwise, this thing's great. Like, because I did this, I was able to craft these incredibly fast. Like, that already was a pretty big boost in speed. I think, so I crafted all these ones, and I got another one going over here, so it'll be the circuit 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, and then this guy will just be a forge hammer, and that'll be, this will just be for the auto crafting ones. I think after these blocks, I'll probably go extruders next. I think I can do the extruders. I don't remember what tier that is. Mass processing. This is, oh, that's the extractor. Dancing under pressure, bending, lather. Oh yeah, I should do the lather for sure. Electrolyzer, mixer. Oh, maybe the extruder's up here. That would be unfortunate. Hold on. Extruder. IV tier. Oh, okay. So no, I can make this. Does it have a minimum? I don't think it has. So that'll be the next goal, is do a whole line of extruders with all the common shapes I do. And you can see this blue colored thing. So the last thing I actually did today, like today's gonna be a little short one, is this. So when I started my A2 system, having this main spline be the dense cable was way out of my capacity, because every 4 of these requires an HV circuit, but now that shouldn't be a problem, and we want to utilize more floors, so eight channels coming up there wasn't going to be enough. Right now I just got 5 going, but obviously as this controller grows I'll have a bunch more. I did actually lay out the tower floors. Don't really know what I'm going to do with this tower. My original plan was to do a bunch of drawer controllers and drawers, but I think realistically, and from what I've read, these will eventually start lagging out the game, and it's just better to use the AE2 things, and those are pretty cheap to craft now, so I'll have to think about what I want to do on this side. But this side's just going to be a bunch of multi-blocks. We'll see how much if it starts to lag the game at all, having too many stacked up on top of each other, but a lot of these single blocks will go away, and I'll just use, basically each floor will be like, you know, like the bending floor, bending extruding floor, or, you know, assembly line, blah blah blah, all the way up. And then I plan on, maybe I'll do ore processing over here, since I don't really need to worry about storage. That'd be kind of a cool idea. I don't know, work in progress. But yeah, like I said, I didn't have too much I got done today. I was pretty excited about the blue cable spline and just the fact that I'm able to do it now. And honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of in a little bit of a waiting game to get my steel caught back up a bit. Maybe I'll make an extra steel bee and throw an extra centrifuge down. So once I get enough steel, just to like amp it back up fully, I think I'm going to drop a multi-block centrifuge. I even ran the cables for it already. I haven't run the fuel line over here to just start centrifuging the combs that all don't go through the LCRs, and speed up that process. That'll help a lot, and then I can kind of see what bees I need to go. And then once we get more powers, I'll start using industrial apiaries, but that's probably a good, not too far away, but a bit away, because once I can get everything caught up, get the uranium caught up, which we're working on right now, get the wireless charger so I can stop being annoyed about that. I still want to do that first, even though I'm having power problems. Then I'll address the power, well, or doing ore processing and just up the auto-crafting upgrades as I go. But yeah, I hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm going to get out of here, go to my card tournament, and yeah, I will see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.